Hello, everybody. My name is John Crawford. I am currently serving as the Division 21 Lieutenant Governor for the 2020-21 term. And it's election season here in Kiwanis, which means we are once again facing an issue that seems to come up every year, and that's the stigma that comes with Kiwanis leadership. There are people that are perfectly capable of holding down leadership roles in Kiwanis, and for some reason they're not willing to do so. So I thought I would address some of the concerns that commonly come up with this issue, and hopefully encourage some of those people to go ahead and take the plunge, to jump in feet first and take on one of these leadership roles in Kiwanis, which, if you do it right, should be very rewarding. Too many times we're having to twist arms, we're having to beg people to take on a leadership role in Kiwanis. Well, I grew up in the Kiwanis family. I joined the Builders Club when I was 12, and I can remember thinking as a child, uh, looking up at a Kiwanis president who had a microphone at the podium, or looking up at a lieutenant governor before I really knew what that was. And I can remember looking up at these people and thinking, that could be me someday. I could be up there. I could be that leader. I could be the person with the microphone. And I don't know what it is that maybe as we get older, that ambition gets away from us, that sense of dreaming, that we could be anything that we want to be in life. So I don't know what happens to that ambition, to that drive as we get older, but I'd like to think that there's still some of that within all of us, even though we have a little more gray in our hair, in our beards. Um, Taking on a position in Kiwanis should be desirable, should be something that's rewarding. And yet I hear the same objections coming up every year. So I want to address some of those objections today. The three main issues that seem to come up. People are concerned about the job itself, the duties of the position. People are concerned about the expense involved and how much it might personally cost them. And then people are concerned about their own personal reputation, I guess, how they might stack up against previous leaders or how they might be compared to other people in the same position. We need volunteers. We need people who are capable of doing the job, and we have plenty of people out there who are thinking about it but maybe aren't willing to take that next step. So I'm hoping to help dispel some rumors and help encourage those of you who are considering a leadership role. Let's see if we can get you to jump in feet first. I think you'll find it rewarding. When I took the position of Lieutenant Governor, one of my goals that I set for the division is that I wanted to help eliminate the stigma of Kiwanis leadership. For some reason, every year it seems like we're having to twist arms, having to beg people to take roles that should be, in every way, desirable for a Kiwanis member. Club president, club secretary, lieutenant governor. Positions like this that are a lot of fun to have, and they're very rewarding, and yet we have trouble filling those roles because of this stigma that exists. Oh, I don't want to do the job, that's too much work, I can't handle it, I won't live up to the previous person who had the job. There is some trepidation. People are afraid to take on a position like that, and I think that that fear is misplaced, misguided. I remember looking up when I was a kid, because I grew up in the Kiwanis family. I joined Builders Club when I was 12 years old. So even as a kid, I remember going to Kiwanis meetings and division events and looking up at these leaders, Kiwanis presidents, lieutenant governors, and thinking, that person at the podium up there, that could be me someday. I think it's natural for a younger person to have that inclination, that desire to want to emulate people like that. You see somebody on stage or at a podium giving a speech, and you can't help but project yourself. That could be me up there. I'd like to try that someday. And I don't know where that goes. As we grow into adulthood, we lose that ambition. We lose that drive. Maybe it comes from experience. Maybe it's just natural fear. But for some reason, that seems to go away as we get older. One thing about being a lieutenant governor is if you're going to serve in this position, it's required that you have to have been a club president at some point. So if you've been a Kiwanis president at some point, let me tell you, That is the harder job. I can guarantee it right now. If you have been a club president, you've already had probably one of the tougher jobs that there is anywhere in Kiwanis. If you can handle it, if you got through your term as club president, then you can get through a term as lieutenant governor. Trust me on that. President is harder. I've also been an SLP advisor for many years, so I've worked with Key Club, I've worked with Builders Club, and I can guarantee you right now, having seen the work that they do, and having done it myself, being a Key Club lieutenant governor is harder than anything that we encounter in Kiwanis. Certainly, it's harder than being Kiwanis lieutenant governor. So we have Key Clubbers, 16, 17, 18 years old, who are capable of holding positions like this. You as an adult can certainly handle being a lieutenant governor or being a club president, because there are harder positions out there. Some of those positions you've probably had already. Being a club secretary is not an easy thing to do. Being a club treasurer is not an easy thing to do. So if you can handle positions like that, then you can handle being a lieutenant governor. Taking over as a lieutenant governor this year, I found that, first of all, there is much less oversight than I expected from the district level, and in fact a lot less paperwork too. I was expecting to have to compile many different reports on a monthly basis. That doesn't happen, to my surprise. I was expecting much more paperwork than what we've actually encountered this year. And we haven't exactly seen much pushback from the district office, from the district governor. They may check up on your progress once in a while. They may ask, how's it going? But I have yet to encounter anybody higher up that has come down upon me saying, you need to do this, you're doing this wrong, this, and this need to be done. I haven't been getting orders. I haven't been chastised or frowned upon for anything that I've done as lieutenant governor this year. By and large, the position of lieutenant governor is extremely local. It is not what it used to be. 10, 15, 20 years ago, yes, you had to travel to district board meetings, you had to make decisions on behalf of the entire district. Now that we have the regional trustee program in place, you have people to do that part of the job for you. Lieutenant governors are focused almost exclusively now on the local level. So you have really no obligations beyond just your own division, except for, you are expected to go to the different conferences, mid-year conference, district convention, international convention if you can. So that's about all that's required of you beyond just your division work. And like I said, if you've been a club president, which you have, then you're used to running a meeting once a week. Being a lieutenant governor means running a meeting just once a month. So it is less work. So maybe you don't believe me, it's true. Being a lieutenant governor is less work than being a club president. Objection number 2 is something that comes up quite a lot, and I hear this all the time. People are concerned, rightfully so, about their personal expense. I can't be a lieutenant governor right now, I can't afford it. And I will be honest with you, this year has been out of the ordinary, certainly. The fact that we've had COVID-19 this year, I haven't had a lot of the expenses that normally a lieutenant governor might have. For example, I did not go to the mid-year conference. Well, I did, but it was online. There was no cost to attend. I didn't have to travel, didn't have to pay for a hotel, didn't have to pay a registration fee. So some of those expenses have kind of gone out the window. I have not been traveling to visit clubs in person. That, in my division, is not a big concern because my division is very geographically small. There are other divisions out there that are spread out across hundreds of miles. You look at Division 47, that's spread out all across the California desert. Look at Division 23 up in Reno, Nevada, which covers the entire half the state of Nevada. So there are some divisions out there where travel is a concern. I'm lucky that my division is not one of those. But having said all of that, my biggest expense this year as a lieutenant governor, believe it or not, has been awards. Having certificates made, having plaques and trophies made, which is all in the budget, which, it's a nice problem to have. If your biggest expense during the course of the year is awards, then that means you have a lot of volunteers behind you who are doing a good job, who deserve to be recognized. So I don't mind spending money on awards. It means that we have good people doing good things. That is not typical of any other year. Because, like I said, typically you'd be going to a district convention. Typically you'd be paying for hotel rooms, possibly plane tickets, depending on where your international convention is going to be. So there are expenses involved. We really haven't even been paying for things like raffle tickets because we haven't been doing events in person. Having said all of that, you have plenty of money budgeted from the district, and you have plenty of money coming into you from your supporting clubs that are in your division. I've been very pleasantly surprised. A lot of my clubs this year have sent in their division dues without even me asking for it. They just automatically send you a check and say, okay, this is what we pay every year, have some money. So far that's been actually more than enough. I haven't even sent out any invoices yet because I haven't needed to. I probably will once we get to International Convention, but as of right now, the support that I've gotten from my clubs has been more than enough. Travel expenses, you can get reimbursed by the district. There's a number of other expenses that can be reimbursed by the district. So as far as any personal expense, no, this position does not have to be expensive to you personally. And as a matter of fact, by and large, most of the expenses associated with the job are vouchable, so you can go and get your money back from the district. So if you're paying out of pocket to do a position like this, then you're not using all of your resources correctly. So we can help you with that. If you're concerned about the financial obligations of this position, we can talk, but that shouldn't be a reason in itself not to take the job. The third objection, and one that is not commonly stated out loud, the third objection is that people are fearful of the response that they will get upon taking a leadership position, whether that's lieutenant governor, club president. People are fearful about what people might think of them personally. I tell this to every club president that we've had in our club, the Grantville Allied Gardens Club, and we are lucky in that we have never had a club president resign. We have never had a club president quit on us, because this is the number one thing. When you take on a leadership role in Kiwanis, whether it's club president, lieutenant governor, or anything else, you have an entire network of supporters behind you, people who have been there before, people who have done the job, people who can answer any questions that you might have. And that's key, because when you take on a role like this, it's your first time doing it. Of course you don't know what you're doing because it's your first time. Now, we have plenty of training materials available. You go to the convention, you're going to get trained on how to be a club officer, how to be a lieutenant governor. You're going to have good training. In fact, if you plan a year ahead, if you serve your term as a president-elect or a lieutenant governor-elect, you have a whole year in which you can prepare for the position. Having said that, once you get the job, it can be a little nerve-wracking at first, but again, you have people that you can turn to with any questions, with any concerns that you might have. There are just an entire network of people in your club, in your division, that care about Kiwanis and want to see you do well when you take this position, to the point where, honestly, you cannot fail. We're not going to let it happen. You've got committee chairs, past presidents, past lieutenant governors, people who have been in these positions for years or had these positions many years ago. You can learn from their experience. But again, with this network of support behind you, it is almost impossible to fail. You're never alone. You always have somebody that you can turn to ask questions, maybe not in your own club, but there's hundreds of other clubs out there. If you're running for lieutenant governor, then you have 39 other people also serving currently as a lieutenant governor with you. So the support network is there. If you have questions, if you're not sure how to proceed, if a serious problem comes up, you always have people that you can turn to. There's experts at the district office. You can call 1-800-Kiwanis and get Kiwanis International on the phone. So you have resources available to you everywhere, not just people, but also online resources as well. So When it comes to holding down a leadership position and doing it well, you have nothing to fear because you cannot fail. There's so much support behind you. So those are the main objections as far as actually running for the position and holding the position. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be scary. We have built-in safeties for all of those things. Now, as far as following in the legacy of somebody else, the position is what you make of it. Every leader has their own different style. Every president, and you've seen this from your own club, every president has their own traits, their own talents, something that makes them unique. So don't worry about comparing yourself to past leaders because you're going to bring something unique to the table. You're going to bring a little bit of yourself to any leadership role. One of our past lieutenant governors in our division, somebody that is widely respected in Division 21, wrote to me recently and addressed the problem of having people timid, I guess, nervous about taking on leadership roles. And the message that he wanted to get out there I thought was very correct, very strong. I thought I would relay to you some of what he wrote. He says, a Kiwanis leader just needs to be themselves and do the job in their own way. We're all unique. The most important thing is that we like to have a good time and have a leader that shows that they care about all the members in all of our clubs. So it's not about acting like the previous lieutenant governor or acting like the previous president. As long as you're there for the right reasons, as long as you care, as long as you show that your heart is in the right place, doesn't matter what came before you, doesn't matter what comes after you. Your legacy is going to be based on who you are and what kind of person that you are as a leader. There's really only two qualifications that you need. One is a positive attitude. You need to be able to go into the position with the right attitude, thinking positive, thinking that you can make a change, thinking that you're there to make a difference and that you can make a difference, that you're going to leave the division better than you found it. So positive attitude, positive thinking, that makes a big difference. The other thing is that you need to have a willingness to help. And let's face it, if you didn't have a positive attitude and a willingness to help, you wouldn't be in Kiwanis in the first place. That's what we expect of all of our members, a positive attitude and a willingness to help. So if your club members and if your clubs know that you have their best interests at heart, that you're going to go in and do the best job that you can, nobody's going to worry about your qualifications or your history in the organization. Nobody's going to be concerned about what you've done in the past. They're mainly looking for what you can do for them right now. How can you help us today? What have you done for us lately? And that's really all it is. If you're there as a supporter, if you can go to these other Kiwanis clubs in your area and bring them something of value, whether that's new information or guidance, tips, or just yourself with a positive attitude and a can-do spirit. As long as you're bringing something of value to these clubs, then you're going to be just fine. And then the other thing that's so important is communication. You need to be able to communicate effectively with your own club, with the other clubs around you, your club officers, the other lieutenant governors in your area, maybe your region trustee, maybe your district governor. As long as the lines of communication are open. I made the comparison that being a lieutenant governor, really you are just the governor's lieutenant. You're a mode of communication from the district to the club and back again. I did the comparison that your function as a lieutenant governor is similar to the function of the string when you make a toy telephone out of two Dixie cups. You have the Dixie cup on one end, which is your club. You have the Dixie cup on the other end, which is your district. and then you, as the lieutenant governor, are the string in the middle that connects them. And without that string, there is no communication. You just have two Dixie cups far apart from each other. It's the string that makes it work. So if you can function as that string, if you can be that line of communication, then don't worry about the paperwork. There's not that much. Don't worry about the budgeting, because once you get your budget out of the way for the year, it's done, and you can pretty much go according to that. So the hard part is probably just in the preparation, and occasionally if you get a club that is non-responsive. But by and large, it's a very positive position to have. It's a very good experience to have. You get to, under normal circumstances, you get to visit the other clubs and go say hi to them in person. I've been doing all of that this year by Zoom. But it's fun to see how other clubs operate outside of your own club. The little traditions that make each club unique, the meeting locations, the challenges that each club faces, the different projects, the different fundraisers that each club takes on. It's the little things that make each Kiwanis club different. And that's where the attraction is to a job like this. You get to see all of that stuff that happens behind the scenes. So, and of course you're making friends across the division, across the district. You're meeting new people, you're networking, and some of these people that you get to meet are going to be friends for life. You really remember the people who worked with you and stuck with you, and you know, these are people that are hopefully going to be friends for a long, long time. I am still friends with people that I served with in Key Club and in Circle K 25 years ago. So, once again, the reward outweighs the risk, and if you're considering running for a position like this, I hope you'll decide to take the plunge. Thank you. Being a leader within Kiwanis, whether it's a club president, a lieutenant governor, or something else, is probably the best thing that you can do for your club, for your division, and for your community, because we need people who are willing to step in and take on these leadership roles. Yes, you can't have Kiwanis without members, but you can't have a Kiwanis club without people who are willing to step up and lead. And leadership should be something that is desirable, something that we should aspire to. I don't know when we got away from that. I don't know why it is that we have to twist arms, that we have to beg other people to lead. This organization runs on leaders. We build leaders. That's what we do with our youth. That's what we're trying to do with our adults. There should be no stigma. There should be no trepidation about holding down positions like these, because it really is a fun thing to do. And like I said earlier, if you take on the role of lieutenant governor or the role of club president, you're going to fall in love with Kiwanis all over again. So please, when you're considering whether or not you should run for office, there is so much positive. This is one of those rare situations where the reward outweighs the risk. You're going to get so much out of it. Again, I want to say that the reward outweighs the risk. You're not putting yourself in danger. You're not putting yourself in a position where people are going to laugh at you. You're not going to put yourself in a position where you can fail, because you have such a great support network behind you. But right now, we really do need help. We need help from people just like you, people who are willing to lead. Kiwanis can't do it without you. So if you're thinking about running for a position, talk to the people who have had that position before. Talk to your current lieutenant governor. Talk to a past lieutenant governor. Talk to past club presidents. Find out what the job is all about. And I think you'll find that you really have nothing to be afraid of. This is a position that should be desirable, should be fun, and we have the tools in place to make sure that it is fun and to make sure that you can be successful. So take the plunge. Go in feet first. Take the challenge, take the risk, knowing that there isn't a risk. If you take the position, it's going to be one of the most fun things that you can do in Kiwanis. So take a chance, talk to the people who have had these positions before, talk to your past lieutenant governors, talk to your past club presidents, see what they think. And I think by and large, most of them will tell you that it was a very rewarding position, something that was fun, and something that we should all aspire to doing well. So if you truly want to be a good volunteer for your club, for your community, then taking on a leadership role like a president or lieutenant governor is one of the best things that you can do.